ISIL doesn't control as much territory in Libya as it does in Iraq and Syria, yet analysts say ISIL could gain traction given Libya's security vacuum. They believe a growing coalition with countries like Egypt could help. Bill Braniff is at the University of Maryland, where he is the executive director of the National Consortium for the Study of Terrorism and Responses to Terrorism. I asked him about Egypt's role in the fight against ISIL.
Egypt's role in the fight against ISIL, I think, is very welcome. I don't know that it's a game changer, but Egypt is the largest Arab Muslim country by population. It's a central partner with respect to the United States and maintaining a regional peace with Israel. So, Egypt is a hugely important role player in the region. But what the fight against ISIL really requires is a very broad coalition with many, many willing nations, especially Sunni Muslim nations, who are really willing to marginalize these extremist Sunni militant groups like ISIL and Al-Qaeda and its associated movement.
How do you get there?
Well, one thing we know is that terrorist organizations often overstep their bounds, and they conduct attacks that, for whatever reason, just elicit a huge popular backlash and give an opening for governments to really crack down on them. And we might be seeing that now with ISIL. The immolation of the Jordanian pilot created some real shockwaves in the Sunni Muslim world. The execution of new and different religious minority communities outside of Iraq and Syria might help crystallize that international coalition to go against ISIL. They're masters of provocation, but eventually they may overstep their bounds and elicit a response that they can't handle.
You mentioned Egypt's role, the changing dynamics. Yesterday as well, there were reports that Italy might actually be considering joining the fray. Talk to me about that, and talk to me about where you might see other countries aligning themselves and joining this fight.
Well, again, I don't think anyone's going to suggest that Italy joining a coalition is a bad thing. The more the merrier, I guess. But this really has to be led by Sunni Muslim majority countries. Jordan has to continue to play an emergent leadership role. Again, Egypt is very welcome, but it's going to take a lot of support from the Gulf nations as well, where some skeptics have argued groups like ISIL and Al-Qaeda and its associated movement get a significant amount of material support. Even if that comes at the non-state level, that these groups, these countries, and all their vast resources really have to stop supporting extremist movements. And until those things happen and Sunni Muslim majority countries decide that it's up to them to marginalize these groups, having Western powers like France, Italy, the United States take on these groups, while often welcome and necessary to some degree, can actually help stoke the argumentation that these groups make that there's a war against Islam led by these non-Muslim powers.
Certainly a lot of complexities there. Bill Braniff, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.